Greetings, everyone. My name is Daniel Foster. Until recently, my life was deeply entrenched in the financial sector, analyzing trends and advising on investments as a Wall Street analyst. I've lived a life driven by logic and evidence, grounded firmly in the tangible world of numbers and economic theories. However, an extraordinary event that occurred in late February 2023 changed everything for me, challenging the very foundations of my understanding of the universe and our place within it. It began on a seemingly ordinary winter night. After a long and particularly challenging day filled with meetings and market analyses, I was driving home along the familiar, yet barely visible, icy streets of New York City. My mind was occupied with fluctuating stock prices and client demands when suddenly a blinding flash of light tore through the darkness. The last thing I remember was a sensation of losing control, the world spinning wildly before everything plunged into an abyss of darkness. I regained consciousness, not to the sound of sirens or the chaotic urgency of emergency responders, but in a realm that was serenely tranquil and bathed in a warm, golden light. The environment was unlike anything on Earth, defying all physical and scientific explanations. It was imbued with profound peace that seemed to echo through the very core of my being. Standing before me was a figure whose presence was immediately overwhelming yet filled with an indescribable peace. Jesus Christ. There was no formal introduction, no need for one. His identity was as clear to me as the undeniable truth of his presence. He communicated directly into my mind, his words bypassing language and implanting themselves with clarity and depth into my thoughts. "You have been brought here at a crucial time, Daniel," he began, his voice a harmonious sound that seemed to resonate with the very frequency of the universe. "The lessons you learn and the truths you witness are meant to be shared. Watch, listen, and understand." Jesus led me to what I could only describe as a celestial observatory. This was no ordinary place, but a living archive of the cosmos, where time and space converged into a visual tapestry that depicted the history of humanity, its present, and the looming future. Here, the past, present, and future were not linear, but existed simultaneously in a dynamic flow of events and consequences. As we stood before this incredible panorama, Jesus pointed toward specific threads in the tapestry, each one representing pivotal events in human history. But it was the immediate future that he drew my attention to, a segment of the tapestry that vibrated with an unsettling energy. "March will change everything," Jesus stated solemnly, his gaze fixed on scenes of upcoming chaos. The tapestry shifted, revealing vivid images of global financial markets in turmoil. I saw stock exchanges around the world plunging into unprecedented despair, banks and financial institutions failing, and economies teetering on the brink of collapse. The visions were not merely impersonal economic data, but carried emotional and spiritual weight. I could feel the fear, the panic, and the helplessness of millions as their financial security evaporated overnight. But this was just the beginning of what I was shown. The scenes transitioned to a clandestine meeting of the world's most influential leaders and financiers, some of whom I recognized from the news. They were not merely reacting to the crisis. They were orchestrating it. This revelation hit me with a mix of disbelief and horror. The economic collapse was not a natural consequence of market dynamics, but a deliberate act intended to usher in a radical restructuring of global power and economics. These events have been carefully planned, Jesus explained. The crisis will serve as a catalyst for the introduction of a new system, one that promises stability but at the cost of true freedom. As the tapestry continued to unfold, I was shown the rapid implementation of a new digital currency system. Presented as a technological savior of global economics, this system was quickly adopted by governments worldwide. On the surface, it seemed to restore order and stability, but the underlying truth was far more sinister. This new currency is a tool for control. Jesus clarified as we observe its acceptance across societies. It is designed to monitor, to regulate, and to dominate every aspect of individual lives under the guise of economic security. The weight of these revelations was overwhelming. I understood that I was not merely a passive observer, but was being prepared to carry back a message of warning and preparation. As the implications of the new digital currency sank in, Jesus showed me more disturbing developments that would follow its widespread adoption. In the tapestry, I watched the society transformed under this new regime. The currency was just beginning. It was a precursor to a more invasive system, a mark that individuals would receive on their bodies. This mark, Jesus explained, was not merely a physical identifier, but a spiritual symbol of allegiance. People will believe they are choosing security, he said, but in reality, they are sacrificing their autonomy, their privacy, and ultimately their spiritual freedom. This is the mark prophesied in scriptures, the one that challenges the very essence of human liberty and dignity in the face of divine truth. The observatory shifted again, showing a world split between those who accepted the mark and those who resisted. The divide was not just economic, but deeply spiritual. Jesus explained that this was a pivotal moment in the spiritual battle for souls, a test of faith and allegiance to God versus the deceptive comfort offered by worldly powers. This battle is not new, but it is intensifying, he continued. Those who understand the true nature of this mark will be called to make a stand. They will need courage, conviction, and an unwavering faith in my teachings. The future scenes grew even more stark. I saw a world grappling with the consequences of its choices. Cities that had once been vibrant centers of culture and commerce were now subdued under the omnipresent control of a new system. Surveillance was ubiquitous. Freedom of expression was a relic of the past, and human interactions were heavily monitored. The observatory revealed pockets of resistance, small communities, and individuals who chose to live off the grid, refusing the mark and the supposed benefits it brought. Their lives were difficult, marked by hardships and exclusion from mainstream society, but they retained something precious: spiritual freedom and integrity. As these visions concluded, Jesus turned to me with a solemn yet encouraging look. "You must return, Daniel. Share what you have seen. Warn them of the choices ahead, and prepare them for the trials they must face. The future is not fixed. It is shaped by the decisions each person makes today." With a gentle yet irresistible force, I felt myself being pulled back to my body. The celestial observatory faded into a blur, and I awoke in a hospital, my mind racing with the vivid, transformative visions I had experienced. Now, as I share this message with you, It is with a profound sense of urgency and hope. The revelations bestowed upon me are not meant to incite fear, but a prompt preparation and spiritual fortitude. We are at a crossroads, and the decisions we make as individuals and as a society will determine the path we take into the future. I urge you all to consider these visions seriously. Engage with your communities. Discuss these possibilities and explore what it means to live with integrity in challenging times. Strengthen your spiritual foundations, deepen your understanding of prophecy, and commit to living out your faith authentically and boldly. Prepare yourselves not just for economic upheavals, but for the spiritual trials that accompany them. The true currency of the future is not digital or material. It is a currency of faith, hope, and love. These are the assets that will sustain us through whatever challenges lie ahead. Thank you for listening to my story. Remember, the power to shape the future is in your hands. Stand firm in your beliefs, hold fast to your principles, and face the coming changes with courage and faith. Together, we can navigate the uncertain waters of the future, anchored by our unwavering trust in the divine.